Hello everyone, welcome back to Rank Talks Ball for yet another World Cup qualifier game, and this is the very last World Cup qualifier game ahead of the 2026 World Cup. And we're bound to see if it's gonna be the last World Cup qualifier game in a while, because as we know, Argentina is gonna be co-hosting the 2030 World Cup. It's like a weird thing, but we don't really know if Argentina is already qualified to the 2030 World Cup or if we're gonna have to play qualifiers anyway. The point is, this could be like the last World Cup qualifier game we play in a long time, at least until next cycle and potentially past 2030. So I have no idea how long it's gonna be before Argentina play another World Cup qualifier, and it's a big one. It's a big one because it's against Ecuador. It may not matter for the standings because both Ecuador and Argentina are already qualified to the World Cup, but it is big as a test for the national team because we know that Ecuador, well, I said it already, they are qualified to the World Cup. They are a World Cup caliber team. They've shown it. They have a lot of talented players. They have a lot of quality. They have a great coach, good organization. They're very solid at the back. They have the best defensive record in the continent, and so it's going to be a big test to see if Argentina is up to the task against these top tier teams, and against a great defense and with a few key players missing, including Lionel Messi, who had his farewell against Venezuela over here in the Estadio Monumental. And now away to Guayaquil, we're going to have to see if Argentina can withstand the pressure that Ecuador is going to put on us to try and live the last official match before the World Cup on a high note, and just try to prove ourselves that we're still on that top level going into the World Cup. So shout out to everyone in the chat, shout out to Lito, shout out to Matt, and shout out to Rusty Shackelford. Yeah, it's a partidazo. It's an absolutely banger game that we're gonna witness here. Two of the best defenses in the tournament. So you'd think that would probably spell a more boring and cagey game, but I think that it's actually going to be very intense. We're going to see a lot of chances. It's just a matter of seeing if those chances are actually going to be converted. We don't have a lot of time before the game starts, so I'm going to go check the lineups. Big up to Adam. Thank you so much for joining. Glad to see you here. Let me see if I have my browser. So I'm going to have to boop. How can I have to... Where's my camera? Where's my camera now? So that's the chat. That's not right. And that's my stream. That's also not right. But here you can see the lineup. But now I need to get my camera on. What's wrong with my camera? Okay. I need to click this. There we go. Just trying to figure out OBS on the fly. So the lineup for Argentina to start off, Emiliano Martinez in goal, no surprises there. It's obviously our best goalkeeper, so I think that this is still a very serious match that we need to take seriously, and because it's preparation for the World Cup, so I think we need our best 11, although like I said, there are a lot of key players missing. For example, Molina is on the bench. He's not missing. Like Gonzalo Montiel is starting straight up because that's a technical decision by Scaloni. So we're going to see how Montiel does. We know that we've been talking a lot about the right back position and how Molina hasn't really been the most stable and the most reliable option. So we're going to have to see how Montiel does. Obviously, Montiel not playing in the Argentine League at River Plate. Not in Europe anymore, but still a very good player. And we have to see if he can fulfill that role just fine, if he's actually going to do better than Molina, if there's an option for someone like Foyth to come off the bench and play in the right back position. I don't know. Scaloni, I feel like it's just trying stuff out. Same with Valerdi. Cuti Romero not taking part in this game due to an injury, and so Valerdi is going to be stepping up into that center back position alongside Otamendi, who's going to be the captain tonight. Nicolás Tagliafico as the left back. The midfield, once again, with Leandro Paredes as the double pivot in the pivot position. After he had a wonderful game, he was my man of the match alongside, Messi was the man of the match, but Paredes was right behind, just doing everything in the midfield. Super glad to see him play alongside Rodrigo de Paul, and the return of Alexis McAllister, who was carrying a discomfort, and that's why he didn't play in that game against Venezuela, but now he's back. And obviously the big changes are going to be in the front three, which is completely different to the Venezuela game. Against Venezuela, we saw Messi, Thiago Almada, and Julian Alvarez. Here, because Messi did not travel to Ecuador, because Thiago Almada had a discomfort, and because Scaloni wants to try some new stuff out, we're going to see Giuliano Simeone on the right, Nicolas Gonzalez on the left, and Lautaro Martinez as the starting striker. So a lot of changes here in Argentina. But I do like the lineup. I do like seeing Valerdi. I feel like Valerdi needs to get some more playing time with the national team, because we don't know what the situation with Otamendi is going to be, what the situation with Lisandro Martinez is going to be. So we know we're going to need more center backs to fill out the depth going into the World Cup. Obviously no Messi, so that's big news. And also I think that it's important to try out our depth. I don't want to jinx anything, but we know that going into a World Cup, we saw so many players get injured at the end of the season before a World Cup and miss a World Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if Argentina miss one or two key players going into the World Cup, and the players that are underneath them need to step up to those occasions. So like, if Enzo Fernandez for whatever reason is not playing, well, Paredes has to be ready to be the pivot. If Thiago Almada is not playing, Giuliano Simeone needs to step into that role. If Julian Alvarez is not playing, we know that Lautaro Martinez can do that job just fine. And so, yeah, it's going to be very important to see how these rotation players actually can adapt and play in a formation that honestly, we haven't seen anything like this in a long, long time, because Scaloni loves to just stick to one formation, which I honestly like. So over to the side of Ecuador, Galíndez is going to be the goalkeeper. A goalkeeper I know very, very much because of his time here in the Argentine league. He's obviously Argentinian, but naturalized Ecuadorian. Back three with Hincapié, William Pacho, and Ordóñez. The midfield with Vite, Moisés Caicedo, and Alan Franco. The wingbacks Angulo and Preciado, and two strikers in Gonzalo Plata and Ener Valencia. I think this is pretty much the best Ecuador lineup I could come up with. Instead of Ordóñez, you could have Felix Torres. I rate Felix Torres a lot, but it's not been on the same floor as before, so Ordóñez kind of makes sense. I'm not a huge fan of Alan Franco. Personally, I feel like if you want another midfielder, like Vite and Caicedo can already provide stability in the midfield. So if you wanted someone more creative, Kendry Páez could have started in that role. Preciado is very hit or miss, but you don't really have a lot more options on that wing. And I think that the two striker formation with both Ener Valencia and Gonzalo Plata, who's been starting at striker for Flamengo, is probably the best option for an Ecuador team that hasn't really been scoring a lot of goals. They haven't been conceding many goals, but they also haven't been scoring. In fact, if you look at Ecuador's last 4 qualifiers games, they're 4 0-0 draws in a row for Ecuador. Their last victory was a 2-1 win over Venezuela. So you can say that Ecuador have been on a crazy unbeaten streak because they haven't lost in 10 matches, but also they have been on a bad winless streak because of these 4 consecutive 0-0 draws. And obviously you had 0-0 draws against Paraguay, against Brazil, you know, that season, but you also drew with Peru and Chile, which are like the bottom 2 of the qualifiers. And yes, those were on the road, but Ecuador is having a tough time actually finding the back of the net. Something that Argentina hasn't struggled with, as we see here in the last few games, like 4-1 against Brazil, 3-0 against Venezuela, against good other teams like Uruguay and Colombia. Argentina is also getting on the score sheet. But yeah, obviously the defensive record for Ecuador, if we look at it on the table, this is actually a clash between the sides that should be in the top 2, because we know that Ecuador may be on 26 points, but realistically, because they were deducted 3 points, it says right here at the start of the window, at the start of the qualifiers, if they hadn't been deducted those 3 points, they would be on 29. So they could be like considered the second team in CONMEBOL, even though, you know, Brazil and Uruguay are right there. They've only conceded 5 goals, which is crazy, in 17 matches. So it's super, super hard to score against Ecuador. Argentina could only score once back in the starting fixture. Like the very first match day was Argentina-Ecuador here at the Estadio Monumental. It was a goal by Messi, if I'm not mistaken. 1-0 victory over there in the Estadio Monumental. And we have to see if we can actually score a goal against them, because it's very, very hard to break them down. But also in those 17 matches, they've only scored 13, while Argentina has scored 31, which is crazy. Argentina only conceded 9, very good defensive record, but yeah, what Ecuador has done this qualifying campaign has been nothing short of amazing, honestly. It's been really, really good to see Ecuador qualify to the World Cup, despite being deducted those 3 points this early on. Shows how much quality they have, especially at the back. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens now. We're very close to the start of the game. Yeah, just expectations for Argentina. Try to see if we can score. If we can get a victory, it would be amazing on the road. I think it would be a massive statement considering how consistent Ecuador have been at getting results against the top teams as well. Even though Argentina has had Ecuador's number in the last few years. I need to activate my camera once again. If I switch back to this, there we go. Ecuador and Argentina have played a lot of games. Obviously, in the qualifiers, like I told you, the very first match, we beat them 1-0. But also, at the last Copa America, it was a 1-1 draw. We advanced on penalties there on the quarterfinals. The Copa America before that, we beat Ecuador in the quarterfinals 3-0. Goals by Lautaro, De Paul, and Messi with a free kick. And in the qualifiers, the last time we played here in Guayaquil, it was a 1-1 draw. I believe it was Julian Alvarez' first goal for the national team, and then near the end of the game, Ecuador got a penalty because of a handball by Otamendi, and Emi Martinez initially saved the penalty, but Ener Valencia was able to score from the rebound. I went on a ramble there, but I think that over the last few years, Argentina has had Ecuador's number, but this is a huge opportunity for Ecuador because like we are with a heavily rotated squad. They're playing at home, they're playing with their best 11, and they've been on a crazy streak of getting results. So I think that this is also an opportunity for Ecuador to take us down. So I think it's going to be a very, very close game. Have you seen the Racing Kids? Yeah, I saw that the under 18 Racing Club team beat Real Madrid in the semifinals of the under 18 Club World Cup, essentially, which I don't know why that's being organized or how they qualified there, but it's amazing to see like a club from Argentina beat the youth team of Real Madrid of all teams. So obviously incredible. Yeah, Ecuador might be CONMEBOL shocking. Not a lot of offense, but a damn good defense. So like near perfect. Yeah, Ecuador has a great team. Caicedo and Pacho together, like that defensive core. With Hincapié, Galíndez is a goalkeeper that I rate a lot. Felix Torres is on the bench. We don't see Stupiñán, but you have obviously Angulo on that side and Preciado on the other. Ener Valencia, great striker. Not need to say much about it. Hello, Neon. Thank you so much for joining. Did you see Norway scoring 11 today against Moldova? Yeah, and the only goal that Moldova got was an own goal. So, yeah, it was very sad. Haaland scoring 5 goals. I always say this, like, Europeans, they don't know how easy they have it. Like, they can qualify to the World Cup by beating Moldova, Albania, and Hungary, and you're there, you're at the World Cup. No disrespect to Hungary. The other ones, like, they're basically farmers. Here in South America, only now it's easy because of the expanded format, but you still have to go through very, very difficult teams. Yeah, the European qualifiers just cannot compare that, in my opinion. Obviously, you have still some heavy top matches, but not much else. The match is about to begin. Roldan blows his whistle, and we are underway here at the Estadio Monumental, but not in Argentina, in Guayaquil, the stadium of Barcelona SC, not Barcelona FC, SC. This one is from Ecuador, obviously, to see the team in yellow go up against Argentina in the last match day of the World Cup qualifiers. Obviously, we're gonna be staying up late because this game has started ahead of time of the others. We're gonna stay up late to check who gets the last intercontinental playoff slot between Venezuela and Bolivia. That game, Venezuela against Colombia and Bolivia against Brazil, will start in around half an hour, so it's gonna finish half an hour after this game is done. So after this game is done, we're gonna check in how those games are going and yeah, see who gets that last intercontinental playoff spot to try and qualify to the World Cup. Obviously, we know that the 6 direct slots are already taken by Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Ecuador, Colombia, and Paraguay. Can you imagine Spain had Ecuador's defense? Yeah, I think that Spain's defense low-key a bit sus. Their offense is obviously unmatched. I think that Nico Williams and Yamal are a great core, and Oyarzabal plays on a different level when he's on the national team. They have the best midfielder in the world in Pedri, and after that, it's incredible. The defense, I think that Cucurella plays great for the national team. Well, he's played great for Chelsea as well lately. The defense is a bit sus in my opinion, even though Kouarsi is an amazing center back, Heisen is an amazing center back. I think that they still need to figure out their defensive shape a bit, but they've been super solid. Like beating Turkey 6-0 was incredible. Like Turkey's a very serious national team and they just dismantled them like it was nothing. I still think that Argentina is the best national team in the world, but if you think that it's Spain, you honestly have a fair argument to think that. Yeah, you met our Ecuadorian fans. I remember you told me that in Qatar. Too bad that Ecuador couldn't go further in the Qatar World Cup. They were very, very close in that match against Senegal, and they were very close in that match against the Netherlands as well. Who do you think is better and will make a deeper run? I think that Ecuador is definitely more consistent than Paraguay. But Paraguay has more offensive threat than Ecuador, in my opinion. Also, remember, no spoilers in the chat. If you are watching the game, this is my time right here. This is where I'm at currently. There's just been a corner for Ecuador, but Plata won in the air and the ball exited out for a goal kick. So if you're watching the game and you see something happen in the game, wait for my reaction before typing it in chat, so you don't actually spoil my reaction, which is the main reason why I'm doing the watch along in the first place. I think Ecuador has a higher chance to make a deep run, but Paraguay has a better offense than Ecuador. I will give you that. Yeah, Hungary is decent, but even then, it's decent. Hungary is not a good team. I don't want people selling me that Hungary is like a dark horse at the World Cup, because they weren't even a dark horse at the Euros. I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, beating Hungary is a huge achievement." They're a good team. They have some good players. They have good structure, but that's about it. Europe, they have a lot better teams, but that just comes off because they have a lot more teams in general. They have a lot more top teams, but the overall level, it's higher in CONMEBOL, I would say. Paredes with the cross, the header goes above the crossbar by Lautaro Martinez, and that's going to be a goal kick for Galíndez on the side of Ecuador. Hello, Mr. Krabs. Thank you so much for joining. Paraguay does have a certain aura with Gustavo Alfaro at the helm. Double screens. Yeah, USA is playing against Japan as well as part of their tour against Asian teams. It's already had a rocky start after their 2-0 defeat against South Korea. And Japan is, in my opinion, the best team in Asia, by far. So I wouldn't be surprised if Japan were to win that game as well. 10 the item. Thank you so much for joining. Are you available for Friday, 5th December 2025? Well, obviously, I don't know. I cannot see that far into the future. But the idea is that I'm going to do a live reaction here on the stream for the World Cup draw. So I'm either going to do that by myself or joined by somebody. So if you're around in the item, we could do that together. I have no trouble with that. Yes, I'm going to do a watch along for the World Cup draw because I want to see where Argentina are going to be seated. I'm more interested in the location than what team Argentina gets to play, because all I want is Argentina to be on the East Coast. And after that, I don't care if we're playing Germany or whatever. I don't care. We could have the group of death and be on the East Coast and I'd still be happy. Yeah. I mean, actually, I think that Turkey... Oh, this is a great chance. Lautaro... Oh, that was a poor touch. It was Nico Gonzalez, the one who was running into space. Apparently, it was offside. So this is going to be an indirect free kick for Ecuador. Neon, I think that Turkey is overrated, not underrated. I think that a lot of people were hyping up Turkey once again. And they do have some talented players, and I do think they are a World Cup level team, especially with this expanded format. So them losing 6-0 to Spain is incredible, and it's an insane achievement by Spain. I do think that Turkey is overrated based on what I've seen on social media. Like people saying that Turkey could be some sort of dark horse. Like, no, that's not happening. They're not that level. Yeah, Iceland was giving France a good game. I mean, yeah, but you're on the Almiron disrespect train, and I don't blame you, but I think that Almiron's still a very, very valuable piece for the Paraguay national team. Yes, okay, so we can do a live reaction for the draw, obviously. Uh, yeah, I mean, France, if you look at their squad, France on paper should be the best national team in the world, but Deschamps is not a reliable coach, and the team as a whole is inconsistent. Oh, that's a good ball for Ener Valencia's through on goal. That's an amazing save by Emiliano Martinez, and the subsequent shot goes very, very wide by Angulo, and so that's going to be a goal kick for Argentina. But that was a very good through ball for Ener Valencia, and an even better save by Emiliano Martinez. I think France, on paper, they have the best squad in the world, but the team is highly inconsistent, which is why I don't think they will make another World Cup final. But they are definitely one of the World Cup contenders. Like, they're a team that can easily win the World Cup if things go their way. CONMEBOL rep, yeah, of course. If we have like a multiple panel, I plan to stream on my channel as well, but we can have like us being both. I think that should be possible. Managed the situation correctly either, and that led to him not getting the offers that he thought he was gonna get, and Aston Villa not really negotiating in a more aggressive way for him. And yeah, it led to a very awkward situation where he like said goodbye. Emery was saying that he was not gonna start, that he was not gonna play. And now the transfer window has closed. He's forced to stay at Aston Villa. Is he gonna play or not? Like, the club released a weird statement saying that it's only the club's fault and Emi Martinez had like nothing to do with it, which I think it's fake. Like, I think that Emi obviously wanted to push for the move in some capacity, just to try and calm down the waters so that Emi can play. So I think that Emi's career is gonna be fine, but this was like a bad look on him and on Aston Villa as a whole. Do you think Argentina and Ecuador would survive against our friends in outdoor space, Bolivia and Alto? Well, Ecuador, especially in Quito, they have altitude not on the same level as El Alto. Like, El Alto is 4,000 meters above sea level, which is crazy. Quito has like 2,400, which is still like very high. So Ecuadorians are used to the altitude, and Ecuador is one of the teams that does the best in Bolivia, that have the best record in Bolivia. And Argentina has shown, like, our last 2 games in Bolivia, we beat Bolivia. We've never played in El Alto. Both of those games were in La Paz, which is still like crazy high. But the last 2 times Argentina has visited Bolivia, we beat them. And the last one was 3-0. Like, it was a convincing win as well. So I think that, yeah, Argentina and Ecuador are like probably the 2 teams that can stand up to Bolivia in the altitude the most. 24K, thank you so much for joining. Why does Lauti come off the bench if he's scoring and literally won you a Copa? I think my audio was cutting out. I saw that this OBS disconnected for a second. It may be like dropping frames, but it should be fine now. Listen, I think that Julian Alvarez is in great form as well. We have 2 of the best strikers in the world. Like, for sure, both of them are top 10 strikers in the world. There are not many strikers that are better. Oh, that's a great chance for Ecuador, but that's a great block by Otamendi. Oh, Valerdi, that's a bad touch. And that's going to be a goal for Ecuador. No, it's going to be offside. Offside. But that was like a whole scramble inside of the box, with Ener Valencia having the final shot, finding the rebound. Let's see if Ener was offside. Yeah, Ener Valencia was very much offside after that touch, so obviously the goal should be disallowed. And yeah, the decision is going to stand. We're still 0-0. It was a very clear offside, like not even close. But yeah, a bit of a disconnection in the Argentine back line after that clearance from Otamendi. Let's see if Argentina can now find space with Nico Gonzalez. Like I said, there are not many strikers that are better than both Lautaro and Julian. And I think that for Scaloni's system, Julian just is the best because he covers a lot more ground than Lautaro. He runs a lot more, he presses a lot more, he's more intense, he has better link-up play. And Lautaro is a great finisher that can be an asset off the bench when you need a goal. Last time against Venezuela, like Julian played like 70 minutes, he didn't get a goal, but he got an assist, he got good contributions, he was great on the link-up. And then when Lautaro had to be subbed on, he got his time and he got his chance and he scored. So like it's great to have both options. I think that Julian is the better starter and Lautaro just fulfills a great role off the bench because he's gotten so many goals off the bench, like you said, at the Copa America. So I don't see why you should change the dynamic. I think that it makes sense that that Julian is still the starter and that Lautaro comes off the bench and can provide goals off the bench, which is obviously very valuable. So what's the storyline for Venezuela and Bolivia? So Venezuela is currently holding on to the Intercontinental playoff spot. They are on 18 points while Bolivia is on 17. So as long as Venezuela beats Colombia, nothing else matters. Venezuela holds their own fate, but of course they have to beat Colombia at home. They're playing in Maturin. Bolivia is playing in El Alto against Brazil. So Bolivia has to win and hope that Venezuela don't win. That's an amazing save by Emiliano Martinez. Ecuador have been the better side after these like 13 minutes. Ecuador have been better. They've had the only few chances of the game. It's not like they've been very dangerous chances, but at least this is a shot on target, like a good attempt by Angulo trying to dribble inside the box and shoot to the near post, while Emi Martinez was very much ready for it and made a routine save. Great dive anyway. So the thing is that Bolivia have to win. A draw is not enough because their goal difference is abysmal. So like even if they draw with Brazil and Venezuela loses and they are tied on points, Venezuela still goes to the Intercontinental playoffs because of goal difference. So Bolivia has to win and hope that Venezuela don't win, which is not a crazy scenario. Brazil is already qualified and they usually struggle in the altitude, and Bolivia is usually super motivated for that game. And Venezuela, they've had a great defensive record in playing at home, but not a great offensive record, and they're playing against a great team in Colombia. So it's not a crazy outcome, but Venezuela holds their own fate, and Bolivia are forced to win, which is why I favor Venezuela. But anything can happen. So those are the storylines, basically. Europe's teams are better than South America's best teams. South America's worst teams are better than Europe's worst teams. I can agree with that. Obviously, I think that Argentina is on the same level as Spain, France, Portugal, whatever European team you want to say. Argentina, obviously, World Cup winners are there at the top. But after that, I think that Ecuador, Uruguay, Brazil, and Colombia have dipped in form and are below those teams like France, Spain, Portugal. So I can agree with what Seb is saying, obviously. 2-2 Venezuela, Colombia, and 2-1 Brazil, Bolivia. Obviously, that would qualify Bolivia to the Intercontinental playoffs. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring on Venezuela, Colombia, honestly, as we see the first yellow card of the game for Moises Caicedo. Already the Chelsea midfielder getting a yellow card for a poor tackle on Leandro Paredes. I don't think that warranted a yellow card. I think that the referee is being a bit harsh over there. Like, yes, it was a diving tackle, but it wasn't like super intense that it deserved a yellow card. So I think that Roldan, kind of got a bit too strict with Caicedo over there. Argentina 0, Cape Verde 1, will be there. Man, Cape Verde being at the World Cup is so crazy. Cameroon absolutely bottled that. And because of the draw, we're likely not going to be seeing Nigeria at the World Cup either, which is obviously great for Argentina. Because even though every time Nigeria goes to a World Cup, we beat them, we never win a World Cup when Nigeria is at the World Cup. Like we saw that in the last World Cup, in the 2022, like Nigeria was in there and we won it. But every other time we were playing against Nigeria in the group stage, we always beat them, but then we lose to somebody else. So like, what's the point? Now, what happened to my stream? Am I really gonna have to look this up? Okay, hold up. Yeah, that was a good save by Emi, honestly. Because Angulo tried to catch him off guard on the near post, and Emi was just ready for it, diving the right way. Hey, no problem. Like that's my whole purpose, wanting to expand the South American game outside of South America, which is like very close because of the language barrier. Not a lot of South Americans, I mean, a lot of South Americans speak English, but not that many speak in English about football in public. So like that's my main goal, just expand the South American game away of South America to other frontiers, the USA, the UK, India, that obviously love the Argentina national team, and I think we're gonna be playing friendlies against them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, less than 15 minutes until the rest of the matches begin. Now it's almost like 10 minutes. I guess I'm behind on most of the comments because I've been rambling that much. Yeah, Ecuador, 4 0-0 draws in a row, which is like absolutely insane. Yeah, crazy streak. Obviously great defensive record, but not a great offensive record. I guess that sums up the Ecuadorian national team for you. Low-key hoping Bolivia somehow make it. The thing is, if Bolivia makes it, sure, it's a great story, because they have never been to a World Cup since 1994, and that was also in the USA. But if they play in the Intercontinental Playoffs away from the altitude, they have no chance of making the World Cup. Like any team, Bolivia is just a free win. Bolivia is in the level of Moldova away from home. So like, it's not really a fair comparison. Maybe not Moldova. Like Moldova are extra bad. What a European team could be Bolivia away from home? I was gonna say Kosovo, but Kosovo just beat Sweden, so I don't know about that. I was gonna say Finland, but they're also decent. Maybe they're like Northern Ireland, let's say. That's a random comparison, but let's say Bolivia are like Northern Ireland away from home. So they're not gonna make the World Cup if they make the Intercontinental Playoffs. Venezuela, I have my doubts. I have my reservations because they've not been playing great, but I have higher hopes for Venezuela actually making the World Cup than Bolivia if they make the Intercontinental Playoffs, if I'm being honest. And also because Venezuela is the last team from CONMEBOL that hasn't qualified to a World Cup, I think that that's an even better storyline. Yeah, Ecuador could advance on 3 consecutive 0-0 draws. There has been Chile in 1998 qualified with 3 draws to the round of 16, and that was on the 32-team format, so that was insane. I think that Chile team is the only team to ever make it past a group in the 32-team format of the World Cup with only 3 points, which is incredible. But yeah, with the expanded format, you could make it with 3 draws, obviously. Yeah. Messi is not playing tonight. Luis, thank you so much for joining, by the way. Messi didn't even travel to Ecuador. It's not even on the team sheet. And the player that is wearing the number 10 on the bench is Franco Mastantuono. Franco Mastantuono, the player from Real Madrid, is the one wearing the number 10 jersey, almost as if he was the successor to Messi, which I think it's unfair to the young guy. But, you know, if it buys into the hype, sure, he can have it. Um, yeah, Argentina has some of the better English among the Latin American countries. I agree. Yeah. Oh, Sev compared it to Moldova. That's funny. But Moldova just lost to Norway 11-0. I don't think Bolivia would lose 11-0 to Norway away from home. They would lose, and pretty badly, but not 11-1 or 11-0. Like, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, very good physical defense, very bad special defense. That's the whole point. With all the bad armaments. No, we're not going there. Bolivia versus New Caledonia. Bolivia should win that. Like, come on. Even away from home, Bolivia should win that in a neutral ground. So what about Brazil and their Don Carlo? Do you think he unshackles them with free-flowing football, and does Neymar return to them? In the current form, Neymar doesn't return. And I think that Brazil has looked better with Carlo, but I don't think they're going to be ready to be a contender for the World Cup, because that midfield is just not good enough. You still need to figure out what you're going to do with the number 10. The fullbacks are not convincing whatsoever. And you have a great partnership at center back in Gabriel and Marquinhos, but not a lot of depth. So I don't think Brazil are going to be ready to be a World Cup contender. I see another quarterfinal exit. Anyway, here's the ball inside the box with the cross, and it's going to be cleared away, and this is going to be a corner for Argentina. Then should have been Almada. Yeah, Almada was going to be given the 10, but then he got injured and he's not even in the squad, which is why I think they gave the 10 to Mastantuono. Yeah, Cape Verde may need 4 points to qualify, but the thing is that Cape Verde play their last game at home against Suatini, so that's a free win, and after that they're just in, so it doesn't really matter. There's Argentinians everywhere. Not in Galicia. There's Argentinians everywhere. We're like a plague. I don't know how we do it. Nico Paz, Julian or Almada. Almada because he's not in the squad. Julian Alvarez because he's wearing the 9 as always. The cross cleared away. Let's see if we can find a shot. No. Okay, at least we get the ball back so Ecuador doesn't get a chance in the counter attack. But Nico Gonzalez gets dispossessed. And this is going to be a goal kick for Ecuador. And for Nico Paz, well, I think they just wanted to give it to Mastantuono, because between Nico Paz and Mastantuono, I don't think there's much of a difference. The brand of Madrid is very strong. True, but Nico Paz is a Real Madrid graduate. Like, he came for the academy, so I think that the Madrid PR goes for the both of them, if you ask me. And I think that Nico Paz has shown amazing things at Como, but Mastantuono has been showing great stuff at Real Madrid too. It's only his first few games, his first few steps adapting to a whole different country, to a whole different football in La Liga. And he's already looked very composed and very calm, like he's played it like for years. He hasn't shown anything amazing, but he's played very, very well, taking into consideration the limited amount of time that he spent at Real Madrid. How awkward is it that most Argentinians, the most coaches in South American football are Argentine? Well, I think that Argentina just has some of the best coaches in the planet, period. We have one of the best schools for coaches, and yeah, Argentinian players just have like a great tactical understanding of the game, which allows them, once they transition into coaching, or once Argentinians are like full-time coaches go into international, they just have great awareness on what to do, and that's why we see Batista, Bielsa, Alfaro. Gareca already left, but sure, you can throw him in there, although his team at Chile was absolutely disastrous. I'm blanking on the Colombia one for some reason, because I always say his name. Why am I blanking on Colombia's coach? I was saying that he was under pressure for this window. and I cannot remember his Nestor Lorenzo, of course, also Argentinian. I had to look it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, lots and lots of Argentinians, and I think it just comes down to us having some of the best coaches in the world, and you see it in Europe as well. The other games are about to start, so like you're gonna have to update me on those, and obviously we're gonna be staying up late after this game to see who gets the last playoff spot between Venezuela and Bolivia. So don't go anywhere after this game finishes. We're gonna stay here for that. Yeah, I think that Messi will be missed for this game, but thank you so much for tuning in from Liberia. Like, that's crazy, like how far these streams can reach to other people. That was a horrible challenge on Paredes, by the way. They were showing the replay. He's all good now, but yeah, that was a horror tackle. Brazilians are everywhere as well, but yeah, the coaches, like Scolari, you can say, because he won the World Cup with them in 2002, but he isn't really a great coach in my opinion. He had like an amazing squad, and I don't think Brazil winning the World Cup in 2002, obviously he deserves some praise, but I don't think it had a huge influx from the coach. And overall, the coaches from Brazil are not that great. Felipe Luis now is coming off of a new school, more centered on the European game, and I think that he's doing great stuff at Flamengo, and he has potential to become the best Brazilian coach, obviously. The best of all time, it still goes to Zagallo on the 60s and 70s, obviously, with the Brazilian national team achieving multiple World Cups. So yeah. In 3 straight tournaments eliminating England. Yeah, you had a bunch of selfies with like YouTubers in Qatar. Yeah, he was on the losing end of the 7-1 because he was coaching in 2014 too. Yeah. I feel like I've barely been speaking about the game because there's not really much going on, if I'm being honest with you guys. I had expected it to be like a bit of a guessing game, a bit more of a tactical game, because both teams are great defensively, the two best defenses in the tournament. But I would have expected more intensity, and so far it feels like there's not much like high pressing or something like that. We're just seeing a lot of passing and not a lot of shots on target so far. Best team now that will get grouped at the next World Cup? I have no idea. Without seeing the groups, it's impossible. And the thing is that 32 out of 48 are going to make the knockouts. So that only leaves 16 teams that will get grouped. Like only a quarter of the teams at the next World Cup are going to get grouped. Is that right? I don't think that's right. I'm saying something stupid. I don't know. Very few teams. It's very hard to get grouped. And so that makes it that if a team gets grouped at the World Cup, it's because they were really, really bad. And so trying to predict what the best team to get it grouped is going to be, like, that's so difficult, especially without seeing the groups. Even with saying the groups, it's like not an interesting. Oh, is it going to be a red card? Ener Valencia is probably going to be asking for a red card on that foul from Valerdi. A third, 16, yeah. Valerdi sent off. I don't think there's going to be a World Cup curse. We saw that France broke it, and it's really literally impossible for Argentina to get grouped with third place teams advancing. That's honestly a good bet to have. But let's see if it ends 0-0 now that Argentina is down to 10 men. Oh, it's not Valerdi, it's Otamendi. I mean, Valerdi is to blame for that because like he lost Valencia, but like, why doesn't that surprise nobody that Otamendi just gone and did that? Am I the only one who's surprised? So there we have it. Hold on, let me just put this below the scoreboard. I guess it's fine where it should be behind the scoreboard, but I guess it's fine where it's at. Argentina down to 10 men, chat. Not really great. Not really great from Otamendi right there. Is that how it works? Like that? Is Otamendi suspended for the very first game of the World Cup? I don't think that's how it works. I think because this is a CONMEBOL competition and the World Cup is a FIFA competition, so I think that Otamendi is going to be suspended for the first game of qualifiers or the first game of the next Copa America. I think. Not the World Cup. Hello, NoRat. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, the right time, just as Argentina go down to 10 men away to Ecuador. To be fair, it was a great pass for Ener Valencia, but Valerdi losing his man, I said that, yeah, amazing pass from Caicedo, like who else? Over into empty space for Ener Valencia. Valerdi losing his man, which is very sad because I said that Valerdi needed to prove himself now that he was starting in this position, now that Cuti is not here. And he loses Valencia and Otamendi just runs from behind, pushes Valencia when he's through on goal. At least it's not a penalty because it was outside the box, but Valencia had a clear goal scoring opportunity, and that means that if you foul him, that's a red card. Like, there's nothing else to argue. It doesn't have to be violent. It's just that you're neglecting, denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. So Otamendi is sent off. We're going to have to see which center back even comes in to replace him and who's going to be the sacrificial lamb on the side of the Argentinian team. Valerdo. Argentina will win. I will be very surprised if we beat the best defense in the continent away from home down to 10 men. I'll be very surprised. Obviously, I'd love to, but not a great look. But this is also a FIFA qualifying competition, but it runs under CONMEBOL. Like, I'm gonna look it up later. I don't think this gets Otamendi suspended for the first game of the World Cup. I think my clock is like 30 seconds behind, so I'm like gonna stop my timer and hold on. Let me get it to 34 and let's say 50. Let's get it running. So the Paul is now the captain because obviously Otamendi was the captain before this whole thing. I think that fixed it because my clock was not synced properly with the one that I'm watching here on my stream. It must have been when I was dropping frames. Yeah, Argentina down to 10 men. Not a great look. So all of the other games have started. Chile against Uruguay, it's a dead rubber. Peru against Paraguay is a dead rubber. Chile and Peru both eliminated. Uruguay and Paraguay already qualified. The two games that matter that are playing alongside now are Bolivia against Brazil and Venezuela against Colombia, with the home teams hoping to get that last intercontinental playoff spot to have a hope are qualifying to the next World Cup. Yeah, that was a great move from Ener Valencia, but man, Valerdi shouldn't get beaten like that. Worried Paredes might get injured, had two ugly clashes already. As a Boca fan, I would be very worried if Paredes gets injured because he's like carrying our midfield and the whole team as of now. East Coast groups, yeah, group C, E, H, I, and L. I checked them, and the absolute best case scenario would be group I. If Argentina land on group I can guarantee that I'm trying to go to every single game. I can guarantee that because I can like stay anywhere. Um, but obviously, I'd be happy with all of the other East Coast groups as well. What is the Paul doing with that handball? Surely he got a yellow for that. What is the Paul doing with that handball? Just trying to stop play with. So here's the substitution. So Foyt is in to replace Otamendi as the center back, and the sacrificial lamb was Giuliano Simeone. So the attack is only Lautaro Martinez and Nicolas Gonzalez now. So yeah, that sucks for Giuliano because he had a chance to prove himself as a starter, and now he has to be sacrificed so Argentina can go into a back four as well. No, if you get like the West has fallen. It would suck. What's good for me is that the USA is locked on the West Coast. Mexico is locked in Mexico, which is in the middle. And Canada are going to be playing their home games. Obviously in Canada as well. So that frees the East Coast entirely. Like you mentioned, there are 5 groups that are East Coast. And so Argentina being pot 1 and not being able to go into any of the hostess group means that after that, that's already 8 groups and it's going to be 12. So there's, if it's 12 groups and there's 3 that Argentina cannot go into, that means that there's 5 on the East Coast and 4 anywhere else that Argentina can go into. So it's more than a coin flip. It's more than a 50% chance that Argentina land on the East Coast, which would be the best case scenario for me. Yeah, most games in those groups are East Coast, yes. To be honest, I like the idea that the Intercontinental Playoff winners are in pot 4 because that's the lowest merit of qualifying. Yeah, exactly. Venezuela scores? Really? This early on? Damn. Telasco Segovia, the player from Inter Miami, very first shot on target. Oh, that must have been a screamer. I'm looking at it in foot mode. Hold on, let me show you this. I don't know if I'm afraid to show this because it made mess up like my watchalong thing. Look at that! Holy crap! You see this? It went top bins. Look at this. It went on the top corner. That must have been a screamer. I'm gonna watch that after. I'm gonna look it up in social media. That must have been a screamer in a packed stadium to like try and qualify to your first ever World Cup. Imagine the scenes. Top bins from Telasco Segovia. What a goal that is for Venezuela. And as of now, I need to get my camera back. Hold up. Hold up. Oh gosh. There we go. My timer didn't get messed up. That's what I was mostly scared of. What a goal by Telasco Segovia. Yeah, 0.05 XG. Top bins. Incredible. Incredible. By the Inter Miami player. Messi's teammate. Amazing. Amazing for Venezuela. And as of now, it doesn't matter what happens in the Brazil-Bolivia game. Or Bolivia-Brazil better. It doesn't matter even if Bolivia wins 10-0. they're still not making it, because if Venezuela wins, that's it. They hold their own fate and they make the Intercontinental playoffs. So what a goal that is for Venezuela. They just have to hold on to that lead now. I won't say, obviously, Colombia's already qualified to the World Cup, but it would be a really bad look to lose to Venezuela. So I think that Colombia are going to be motivated to try and equalize that game. So this is not over yet. This is just getting started. Bolivia 2 shots, 1 on target, still 0-0. Yeah, I think that Bolivia are probably going to have the initiative, but they need Colombia to help them right now. They need to win, and they need Colombia to lend them a hand afterwards. Good from Alexis McAllister to recover the ball, but without Giuliano, there's really no way for Argentina to go on the counter-attack, because we're laying so deep that we don't have that many players that can run into space. And yeah, we lose the ball. It goes back to Galindez. It's going to be very hard, because Ecuador, oh, that's a really good ball for Angulo. Angulo inside the box once again. He's going to try to cut inside again, but he gets cut off by the pole. This is Hincapié. Hincapié with the cross. Gets blocked by Nico Gonzalez, and that's going to be a corner for Ecuador. It's going to be very complicated, because Ecuador not only has an amazing defense, but their midfield can dictate play very, very well. And even if they don't have the greatest offense, they can take the ball away from us very, very easily, especially now that we are a numerical disadvantage. So it's going to be very hard to keep the ball. And Argentina is a team that is not used to not being in possession. We're very much a possession-based team. Even though I feel like we're also a good counter-attacking team, we don't have our best counter-attacking players on the pitch right now. You'd want players like Giuliano, you'd want players like Almada, you'd want even players like Messi, who may not provide speed in terms of running, but may provide speed in the terms of passing and vision of the game to try and set up a counter-attack. So Argentina, even though we play good on the counter-attack, in my opinion, we're a possession-based team, and we don't have our best counter-attacking players right now on the pitch. So I think it's going to be very complicated for Argentina to win this game, if I have to be honest with you guys. Bro, Mr. Krabs, I was saying, I'm more interested in Ancelotti's post-match conference than the game itself. Like, the game itself is obviously huge for the table implications, but like, bro, the press conference from Ancelotti after the game is gonna be insane. So Preciado is gonna get a yellow card for that foul on the pole, I believe. So now, you see, my stream now refreshed, and now my timer is desynced again, but on the other end. How is my timer desynced once again? What is going on? So it's 44 and let's say 30. Yeah, like my stream is just shitting itself. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to update after this. Colombia goal, really? Jerry Mina from a corner. Oh, the drama. Dude, there's been 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals in that game. Isn't that crazy? Jerry Mina winning a header, as he always does. Like, that's the only thing that Jerry Mina does. Not even that good defensively, but when it comes to scoring goals, the man is just tall, okay? How tall is him? Like, I know he's tall. I don't know how tall he is. He's 195 centimeters. So, like, he's a tall dude. He's going to win in the air. Is that a goal for Venezuela right away? No way. No way. Did Venezuela, like, score from the kickoff? Oh, my God. Joseph Martinez? Is that Joseph Martinez? a former Inter Miami player, now playing at San Jose Earthquakes in the MLS, scores essentially a tap-in from what Footmob is saying. And right after conceding, Venezuela go in front again. What is going on in that game? What is going on? 3 shots, 3 on target, 3 goals. Okay, finally we see a shot that's not on target and not a goal from Telasco Segovia. What is going on in that game? I'm kind of mad that this is the game my national team is playing, because holy macaroni. How is Venezuela doing that? How do they go in front 3 minutes in with a banger, they concede an equalizer, and right away they score again? That's crazy. The scenes in Maturin are going wild. And it's called 10 the item crazy for saying 2-2 draw. I said it wasn't going to be high scoring. Look who's wrong now. I should have trusted the guy who predicted a Dortmund Real Madrid final. Should have trusted that man. I think there's a chance that you may end up coming short in your predictions in the item. That's crazy. Yeah, that... What is Hincapié doing right there? Like, he's just extending his arm to hit Nico Gonzalez on the face. Like, that's at the very least a yellow. And it could be a red card if, like, Roldan decides to be strict about it. Because Hincapié just stretches his arm out wide to hit Nico Gonzalez in the face. Real Madrid Chelsea UCL final this year? Well, I guess it's already settled then. You're watching the table? Yeah, Venezuela are still in front. We have 6 minutes of stoppage time here, by the way. Never mentioned that. So much stoppage time because of how interrupted the play was with so many fouls. Paredes straight on goal. Ooh. Takes a deflection, and that's going to be a corner for Argentina. Imagine we score here. Imagine we score here. Like, if we're going to get a goal, it's probably now from a set piece, you know, at the end of the first half, catch them off guard. Paredes is going to have to take this one. Paredes with the cross inside the box, cleared away by a defender. Rodrigo de Paul back for Paredes. Paredes with another cross, cleared away by Hincapié, just when Lautaro Martinez was trying to come in to tap that in. Hincapié makes the save, and that's going to be yet another corner for Argentina. No, nobody cares about Peru-Paraguay. Dead rubber game. Liverpool-Bayern. I don't think Bayern are Champions League final level team, honestly. They are good. They're not great. Bolivia already on 8 shots. I think Bolivia is just gonna try from long distance. If I had to guess, if I go into full mode, I'll check it once you're at halftime here. I can guarantee you that most shots from Bolivia are from outside the box. They're just gonna try the long distance because because the air is so thin, the ball travels quicker in the altitude because the air is thinner, so there's not that much resistance. There's less grip on the ball, and so it goes straight as an arrow and super quick. So you can fire from super long distance in Bolivia. Leverkusen ain't doing anything in the UCL. I mean, your team got disbanded, but I'm forced to root for them because of your midfield of Palacios, Echeverri, and Eki Fernandez. Eki Fernandez is my GOAT. So 1 more minute remaining this half. Ecuador in possession, trying to create one final opportunity. There's a long ball, trying to find the back of Tagliafico, but the Argentinian defense gets there first. Preciado is complaining. But I don't think it was a foul. I think that Foyth and... not Foyth. Tagliafico had his arm up. No. He didn't hit Preciado with his arm. It was just a normal clash. No, Tagliafico didn't hit him with his arm. In the first replay, it looked like he hit him with his arm. But no, it was just a normal clash between Tagliafico and Preciado. Yeah, a lot of Venezuelans play in the Brazilian league. The most notable probably will be Savarino playing for Copa Libertadores champions Botafogo. But obviously you have Soteldo playing in Fluminense. You have Ferraresi playing in Sao Paulo. Romo, I think Romo is playing in Ecuador. Navarro plays in the Argentinian league in Talleres. Wilker Angel plays in Juventude. And after that, not much else. But yeah, they have a few who play in the Brazilian league, obviously. Let me check what I was saying about the Bolivia game. I guarantee you most of these shots are from outside the box. Yeah, exactly. And both of the shots from Brazil are basically from outside the box as well. Like, look at this, chat. Like, what is this? What is this shot? How many times have you seen somebody take this shot? But it's possible in the altitude. It's literally a 0.02 xg opportunity. But like in the altitude, this ball goes crazy fast. And so it's something that you actually need to respect. I believe in the Bolivia-Paraguay game, they basically shot from the halfway line. Let me see if I can get the Bolivia-Paraguay game. I can guarantee you there's one from the halfway line. Oh, they don't have the shot map? No, I love the shot map. Is he going to VAR for the Tagliafico thing? Really? Why? No. He didn't go to VAR for the Hincapié one. Why is he going to VAR for this one? Hincapié just straight up extended his arm to hit Nico Gonzalez. And here Tagliafico goes for a normal challenge. No, from that camera it looks like the arm, but it's not. That's not the camera. They need to show him another camera. That camera is not it. No. We're not doing this again. They don't have the shot map for any of the other games. Okay, dude. I was trying to show you guys like how they can fire from any distance, but I guess not. Dude, I swear. If this is another red card and a penalty, he gave a penalty. What the fuck? What? And now my stream has gone backwards. So like I saw Roldan point at the spot, and now we're seeing the VAR check again because my stream is just shitting itself. What the fuck? How is that a penalty? How is that a penalty? Chat, don't spoil whatever happens with the penalty, obviously. You had to be with me on this one. There's no way that's a penalty. There's no way that's a penalty. It's a normal clash. They showed him the only camera, which I said it here before they went to VAR, that from that angle, it looks like Tagliafico hits Preciado with his arm. But from every other angle, you can see that it's a normal clash in the air. And Tagliafico never hits him with his arm. What on earth are they smoking? At least it wasn't another red card. But how is that a penalty? How is that a penalty? I'm so confused, man. I'm shocked they gave that. Don't spoil whatever happens with the penalty. Wait for my reaction, but like, what on earth? What on earth? How did they give it? For real, Ecuador is finally have a clear goal scoring opportunity. And it's because of a super dubious penalty. I don't care that we're already qualified. Like, obviously, this game, in terms of the points, it doesn't matter. But that's so annoying. How are they giving that as a penalty? CONMEBOL referees are just so bad. And I feel like they work even worse with VAR because they try to look for stuff that just isn't there. The thing about VAR in CONMEBOL is that they use it to find things that aren't there. Just try to look at the tiniest of details to try and find something that may be something worth checking, and then they check it and then they change the referee's decision, and then we get things like this. It's so stupid. I may check a sofa score for the Bolivia-Paraguay game to see what I was looking for. Tomás Rincón at Santos, you're right. So Ener Valencia, I told you, in the 1-1 draw that we had in the last qualifier cycle, Emi Martinez saved the penalty and Ener Valencia scored from the rebound. Let's see if Emi can save it once again. Ener Valencia against Emi Martinez. Ener Valencia steps up and Ecuador scores. That's so stupid. That's so stupid that's how Ecuador finally get a goal. That's never a penalty. Like, obviously I don't care in terms of the points, but like, that's so dumb. Because it's obviously our fault that we went down to 10 men and so we're struggling more in the game. But like, for them to just give a penalty that doesn't exist, no, of course, like for Ecuadorians it matters a lot because it's been a while since they've scored a goal and they score against the World Cup winners and the two-time Copa America winners. Like, for Ecuadorians it matters a lot. I can understand that even if they're already qualified. But like, that's never a penalty. No, that's never a penalty. They just showed the replay. I cannot believe they gave it as a penalty. Tagliafico and Preciado just clash in the air. It's a normal clash in the air. Tagliafico doesn't even hit him with his arm. He hit him with his back. That's so stupid. I know that I'm behind, Mr. Krabs. Like, I've been saying that my stream shitted itself like multiple times and went backwards. Like, I saw Roldan point at the spot and then my stream just went back 30 seconds back to the VAR check. I know that I'm very, very far behind and now I get to refresh. Let me refresh real quick right now. Like, yeah, they're gonna be in commercials most likely. That's so stupid. That's so stupid that they gave that as a penalty. And that's how Ecuador is actually winning this game. Why is Argentina so bad in Ecuador? How are we bad in Ecuador? What do you mean? We got a 1-1 draw last time around, and we deserved to win that game. We also lost because they awarded Ecuador a penalty, although that was a handball by Otamendi that time around. What do you mean, Mr. Krabs? We're down to 10 men, and they gave them a stupid penalty. What do you mean we're bad in Ecuador? You result-based bastard. Anyway, how are the other games going? Venezuela is still winning, and Bolivia is still drawing. So let me go to SofaScore to try and see if we can find the other thingy. SofaScore, Bolivia, Paraguay. So let's see, where's the shot map? I mean, look at this. Bro. Bro, I swear. Look at that shot. What is that? What on earth is that? It's basically from the halfway line. It's like on the outside of the circle, in the middle of the pitch. How they fired that shot? I remember that one. I remember seeing it on the highlights, because even though it went like right down the middle from the halfway line, the goalkeeper had to make like a crazy save because the ball went so quick. Like, that's what the altitude gives you. That's the sort of unfair advantage that you get playing on the altitude. It's like a hack. It feels like. It's just crazy. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of the altitude, obviously, as you can tell. Average Granit Xhaka shot at Leverkusen. All right, Chad. I don't think Argentina are turning this one around, but you're free to tell me if you think we are. Let me set it up as a poll. There we go. Let's set up a poll for you guys to interact. Peru versus Paraguay looks interesting. Oh, hell nah. Do you even have shots on target? Dude, they don't even have shots on target. Then the item is mad capping right now. Chile, Uruguay has 3 shots on target. Okay. Alright. Oh, Darwin Núñez is playing. How is Darwisi playing? Sorry, League Merchant. Okay. Fair enough. Bolivia, yeah, they're still trying shots from outside the box, I believe. Miguelito Terceros doing his thing. The last 3 shots for Bolivia had been Terceros. Brazil, only 2 shots, none of them on target. So far, yeah, Bolivia being the only one. Holy, what is that? What is this chance? What happened here? Hold on. My camera. I need to activate it again. What is this chance, by the way? 0.36 xg from the penalty spot, and it ends on the corner flag. How did that happen? Like, that should have been like a clear chance, and it ended on the corner flag. Crazy. So the chat so far seems to agree with my sentiment that Argentina won't come back into this game. It's 5 votes. It's 3 for no and 2 for yes. I wonder which 2 believers we have in chat so far. But even then, thank you so much for joining the stream. It's been, despite the result and the flame I've given the referee, not for the red card was deserved, but the penalty, there's no way that was a penalty. Thank you so much for joining. I enjoy your company as always whenever I'm watching games for the national team, for Liverpool, for Boca Juniors. I enjoy doing these watchalongs a lot because of the interaction that I get with you guys. I'm always surprised because I feel like whenever I turn on the stream, I feel like nobody's going to be watching, and to see you guys here having a loyal audience feels like a lot more special. I get to see guys more often. It feels good. And obviously whenever somebody new comes around, like before the guy from Liberia, whose name I forgot, Luis, like when somebody like that shows up, like it's fantastic. Just reaching new people with this crazy idea of sharing South American football with the world. Argentina can still come back. Well, it's going to be mighty difficult with how good Ecuador's defense has been. Being down to 10 men, it's going to be very, very hard away from home. Yeah. I'm saying no because 1-1 isn't really a comeback. Okay, fair enough. So you still believe in a draw, which I would honestly take from this position. Even I wouldn't miss it. I would probably miss it, but not to the corner flag. I would miss it like, I don't know, by 2-3 meters, but like not, or maybe I don't get enough power in it or whatever, but like not by sending it to the corner flag. Like that's crazy. You're a professional footballer, by the way, representing your nation in a World Cup qualifier game with World Cup qualification on the line. Well, yeah, I think that Bolivia should win this to make this interesting, because that would put pressure on Venezuela to not drop points. Because right now Venezuela is winning, they're chilling. Colombia is dominating possession but not really creating chances. So the game has slowed down to a halt after that crazy start where we had 3 goals in 12 minutes. So for now, Venezuela is chilling. If they concede an equalizer, they have to worry about Bolivia scoring one. So Bolivia needs to score to at least put some pressure on Venezuela, because right now they could concede and still make the World Cup if things were to stay the same. So yeah. I still think that that's not a penalty. Still cannot believe that was given as a penalty. Okay, let me check like the goals. Obviously, I'm not gonna show them. Let's see, this Segovia goal. Oh, what a hit from Segovia! Holy smokes! He didn't really curl it. It was like a powerful shot, straight top bins. What a goal! Holy crap! Look at the limbs. Look at the scenes in Maturin. How much that goal meant. I mean, I'm saying look like if you're watching, but like I'm the one watching. That's crazy. Do they have like a better angle of it? No, they don't have a better angle, but that's a crazy goal. And then they don't have the equalizer from Colombia, but we can see the goal that is give Venezuela back the lead. Oh, so it was like a bad rebound from the Colombian goalkeeper, which I guess is Arias, if I had to guess. And yeah, basically just a tap in from Joseph Martinez. Not Arias, Vargas. Vargas is the goalkeeper for Colombia, right? Let me check on the lineup. No, Kevin Mier. Kevin Mier is the goalkeeper. Yeah, that's a mistake on his end, and that allowed Joseph Martinez to get the tap in and yeah, put Venezuela in front. Bolivia have not scored yet. And so we're just waiting for this game between Argentina and Ecuador to resume. Still, the chat is filled mostly with non-believers just like myself. SSB, thank you so much for joining. Welcome back to the stream. We're having a bit of a rough time over here. Richarlison is playing as Ceballos on the bench. Oh, USA got a goal? Ooh, USA beating Japan would be a big statement. I mean, not a big statement because one single win doesn't undo 10 losses. But like, Japan is a very, very serious team. It's a quarterfinal contender at the World Cup, obviously. If the USA were to beat Japan, I know it's a friendly and I know it doesn't undo all the other horrible games they've had. But it's a statement win if the USA beats Japan. How did you and Chris get to know each other? So Chris, also known as Brazilian Fury on YouTube, I knew that he was on Maxwell's channel. He's like a Patreon supporter as well, and I know that he's done a few collaborations with him. And so I knew him from there, and I followed his channel because of Maxwell. And then one day, just Chris contacted me because he wanted to do some sort of collab on the Copa Libertadores. It never really fulfilled. We haven't collabed with each other directly, but he's just a super chill guy, and I love him. And yeah, does some amazing content on Brazilian football, Football Manager. So you should definitely go check out Brazilian Fury if you enjoy Football Manager content and if you feel like knowing more about Brazilian football as a whole. Japan ended Hansi Flick at Germany. Imagine if the same happens for Poch. So far it isn't, yeah. Rafinha is on the bench. Poch in. Thoughts on Ancelotti? I've been saying this a few times. I think that Ancelotti has improved Brazil from what they were doing with Dorival Jr., but I don't think it's going to be enough to make Brazil World Cup contenders, which at the end of the day, it's their objective. So, yeah, I think that Brazil is going to be like a quarterfinals team at the World Cup if I were to guess, because the midfield still has issues, the fullbacks still have issues. You have to figure out what to do with the number 10. You have to figure out your best lineup, and you don't have that much time left to go because it may be like 8 or 7 months until the World Cup, but in that time you're gonna have like what, 6 games? I feel like 6 games before the World Cup would be like a lot. Realistically, it's going to be like 4. So you don't have that many games to prepare for the World Cup. And so Carlo has to figure out some things. I think that they will look better, but they won't be World Cup contenders, is my guess. Yeah, his video on Zico was amazing because Zico is someone that, because he played pretty much his entire career in Brazil at Flamengo, he doesn't get the respect he deserves as a generational footballer, like a legend of the game. Pele played basically his entire career in Brazil at Santos, and he never played in Europe. But Pele gets recognized. Why? Because he won 3 World Cups. Because Zico didn't win a World Cup, he doesn't get the recognition, but he was a once-in-a-lifetime footballer, just like Pele. He just didn't have the luxury of winning a World Cup. He was just unlucky because Brazil had multiple great squads with Zico leading the way. And he was just an incredible playmaking midfielder that scored tons of goals in the Brazilian league. And yeah, amazing talent that deserves more respect. I would be very interested to see Chris make a video on Socrates as well. I just don't know if he will do it because Socrates is a legend at Corinthians, which is Palmeiras' rival, and we know that Chris is a Palmeiras fan, so I don't know if Chris would be open to the idea of making a video about Socrates, but I think that would be very interesting because Socrates and Corinthians as a whole were very, very involved in Brazilian politics during the dictatorship in the late 70s and early 80s. So I think that a Socrates video would be very, very special, I think. So the second half here is underway. Ecuador leading 1-0 against Argentina. Argentina down to 10 men after Otamendi was sent off in the first half. We're going to have to see if Argentina can find some adaptations to potentially turn this game around, which would be fantastic considering that Ecuador has only conceded 5 goals in 17 match days. Would be 18 with this one, which would be an incredible defensive record, like an insane defensive record what Ecuador has. If we were to like get a goal with 10 men away from home, that would be already fantastic. If we were to make a full comeback, that would be incredible and an incredible show of character by this team. Yeah, I imagine like your preview for Palmeiras Porto was fantastic. Chris is just a great guy and super insightful. He loves talking. Sometimes I think that he talks too much, but I prefer someone that talks too much. I also talk too much. I prefer someone that talks too much that talks very little. And Chris is just very insightful, has a lot of things to say, super funny, super chill. I love Chris. It's not a rivalry, we own Palmeiras. It's just the truth. Boca Juniors owns Palmeiras. Like, Palmeiras obviously is the better team today, but Boca is the better team historically. And in head-to-head, Boca has basically eliminated Palmeiras every single time in the Copa Libertadores. We beat them in the final in 2000. I believe in 2001 we beat them along the way to our trophy again. I know we beat them in the semifinals in 2018 and 2023. So, like, we basically own Palmeiras. Eindo's not playing nor Kubo. Yeah, I expect for a friendly for Japan to rotate as well, but yeah. Club World Cup video also stands out, yeah. Very, very good points to point out why maybe the Europeans didn't care much for the Club World Cup, but they cared once like they showed that it was a competitive tournament. Everyone outside of Europe cared a lot for the World Cup, me included. The Club World Cup. The World Cup obviously goes without saying. Current XG of the intense match of Peru against Paraguay. 0.7 against 0.9. Wow, what a banger. It looks like a Japan B team. Luis Suarez, but not the Uruguayan. That's the Colombian Luis Suarez, the one who plays for Sporting. 2-2, just as Ten the Item predicted, and this puts a lot of pressure on Venezuela because if Bolivia were to score against Brazil, they'd overtake Venezuela in the fight for the Intercontinental playoffs. So very, very interesting development here. A stretcher buggy took number 3 of Bolivia off. Damn. Thank you so much for the updates, by the way, because I'm obviously just watching the Ecuador-Argentina game. I may try to find the other games after this one is done, but for now I don't want to mess anything up because like this stream is already not reliable as it is. That was an amazing through ball, but Vite was not in position to follow up, and so Emi Martinez catches that ball, but that was an amazing through ball for Vite to make a run. Could have been a very dangerous opportunity for Ecuador. Luis Suarez, the one that doesn't bite or spit, yup. Thoughts on Suarez spitting on an old man? That's obviously horrible. Like, there's no defending that. Horrible behavior from Suarez. Luis Suarez is making progress at Sporting, yeah. Oh, red card! Oh, Caicedo is sent off for Ecuador. Hold up. It's 10 men on 10 men. I didn't even see it. I know that Caicedo was on a yellow. Penalty to Bolivia. Oh, wait. The qualifiers are just going crazy all at once. I know that Caicedo was on a yellow from the first half. after a challenge on Paredes, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't even get to see now. Is it a second yellow for Caicedo? Yeah, Caicedo off. And now this is 10 on 10. Let's see. I mean... That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't send someone off for that. I have to be honest with you guys. The same way I said that the red card for Argentina was deserved and that I don't think that was a penalty for Ecuador, I'm not biased. Like, I give you, from my footballing point of view, what I think. I think that the red card for Argentina was deserved. I don't think Ecuador should have been given a penalty. And I don't think this is a red card for Caicedo. Because the first yellow was already soft. It's 2 soft yellow cards for Caicedo. So I don't think he deserved to be sent off. I was sitting, come on, bro. So it's 10 men on 10. So I believe Argentina are back in the game. And from 10 the items reaction, I guess that Bolivia have scored against Brazil. Miguelito Terceros, who plays for Santos. He's still playing for Santos, right? I don't. Oh, he's on loan to América Mineiro. Not Atlético Mineiro, América Mineiro in the Serie B. But yeah, he scores from the spot. The only Bolivian wonderkid, essentially, even though he's 21 already, but still, like, the only Bolivian wonderkid, the most talented Bolivian alongside Ramiro Vaca, even though Ervin Vaca is the one playing. I don't know why Ramiro Vaca is not playing. Yeah, Miguelito Tercero scores from the spot. And as it stands, I wouldn't want to be in Venezuela. Like, I wouldn't be... Like, the faces in Maturin must be like, oh, like, we just conceded an equalizer to Colombia, and then you check your phone and Bolivia is winning. It's like, oh gosh. Imagine if you're Venezuelan and you feel like this is slipping away from your hands this much. The feeling in Maturin must be dreadful right now, with them conceding an equalizer and Bolivia right away getting a goal. As it stands, Bolivia is getting the Intercontinental playoff spots. That's crazy. Anyway, Tagliafico wins a corner for Argentina, and we are officially back. We've never been more back. I should have closed the poll before. See, most of you guys didn't believe. I always believed. I don't know about you, I always believed that Argentina would make a comeback. I don't know why all you non-believers, like 62% of you, didn't believe that a comeback was possible. I always believed. First half ended in Maturin. See, my stream just shut itself again. It went 30 seconds backwards. Like, Paredes was about to take that corner, and now we're back at seeing how Tagliafico won the corner. I don't know why my stream keeps shitting itself. Bolivia's number 7 looks like Son. Who is number 7? Terceros? It's not Terceros, right? It is Terceros. He doesn't look like Son. What do you mean? Like, his eyes may be a little more narrow than most Bolivians. You can say he has Asian-like features, but you cannot say he looks like Son. No way. Venezuela is bottling, yeah. A lot of pressure on Venezuela. Halftime, Bolivia in 7th. That's crazy. That's crazy. Venezuela started so well and Bolivia couldn't break through. And the moment that Colombia equalized, Bolivia get a penalty. Like, that's insane. Anyway, all of the other games are on the halftime. So that means that we can focus on this game exclusively for 15 minutes. He has Son's hair. I mean, sure. Whatever you say, Mats. Let me fix my clock because I realized I didn't like update it again. So this is gonna be another corner for Argentina. The other one just flew by, nothing happened. Another corner for Argentina. Let's see if the set pieces are avenue back into the game. Paredes with the cross. Galindez punches the ball away. And this is potentially a counter-attack opportunity for Ecuador. Plata tries to chip it over to Vite, but it takes a deflection off an Argentina, and that's going to be a throw-in for Ecuador. Oh boy. Now this is an intense game. Because both teams on 10 men, it means that the tactical games has changed a lot, and now there's a lot more space in the pitch. And so there's more opportunity to make runs in behind, to make walls, like a combination play. So I think that this game may become a bit more open in the second half now, especially because I expect Argentina to be way more offensive now that we are back on level terms, at least when it comes to the player count. Okay, Lautaro on the ball. He has to pass it backwards. The pass from Alexis wasn't the best for Lautaro right there. I feel like we potentially had a 4-on-3 or 4-on-2. And the pass from McAllister just slowed down everything. Oh, that's a poor pass. And Emi Martinez is going to have to come off his line to try and boot that away. But that's just going to be a throw-in for Ecuador. This is something I'm also going to say. The same way that Caicedo didn't deserve to get a red card, they could have gone to VAR to check for Hincapié's play on Nico Gonzalez in the first half, and they didn't. So I feel like it's just compensation. Oh, that's a great turn from Lautaro, but just in time. Who was that? That's the other center back, the one that I'm like not checking in that much. Ordóñez. Great recovery from Ordóñez to deny Lautaro Martinez a goal scoring opportunity. Now who you think gets 7th? I'm gonna stick true to my guns and say that Venezuela is gonna get it, but it's looking dire because I don't want to be in that dressing room knowing that you bottled the lead twice and now Bolivia is winning. I don't want to deal with the pressure that the Venezuelan national team is dealing with right now. Caicedo will be good for the weekend. At least that's like some relief for the Chelsea fans, I believe. And Enzo didn't even travel to this window because he was on a 2 match day suspension because of his red card against Colombia last window. Do you think McAllister is in shape? I don't think McAllister has been having his best game so far. Anyway, 2 substitutions for Ecuador. Kendry Páez is going to hit the pitch. The number 13, Ener Valencia, is going to be subbed out. And then the number 18, so yeah, Kendry Páez is going to be subbed in for Ener Valencia. We saw that already. And then the number 18, Jordi Alcacíbar is going to come in for Nilson Angulo on the side of Ecuador. So Ecuador subbing out their main striker for a creator in Kendry Páez, and I guess that Gonzalo Plata is going to be the main option up front for them. And then you have Alcacibar to try and strengthen the midfield, and you take out a wing back in Angulo. Gustavo, yeah. As it stands, Venezuela is out of the World Cup. Bolivia is going to the Intercontinental Playoff as it stands. And it's crazy because for the longest time, Venezuela were leading that game against Colombia. They just conceded an equalizer. And right after they conceded an equalizer, Bolivia got a penalty, they score, they go in front. And now Bolivia at halftime sits in 7th place ahead of Venezuela. And Venezuela are letting a huge opportunity slip away from their hands to try and make their first ever World Cup. Yeah, even when we thought that pretty much everything was decided, CONMEBOL qualifiers still managed to make the last match day interesting. Excuse me. I was in touch with Ale during the last World Cup, but we didn't get around to get a meeting. That's a shame. I've seen that Alejandro has been a little more active, but I still need to see him, be around the channel in the group chat and whatever. Venezuela is crazy. Yeah, Jason, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, it's crazy that Bolivia are actually in a position where they make the Intercontinental Playoffs. Here comes Messi Jr. Well, Franco Mastantuono is going to come on with number 10, yeah. Peru versus Paraguay. I don't think that's the interesting game we're looking at. What is Brazil's best front three? So I think it would have to be Estevao, João Pedro, and Rafinha, I suppose. And you have Mateus Cunha as the number 10. Paredes with the cross, and that's an easy catch for Galíndez. Anthony. Oh, of course, I was forgetting about the GOAT. You're right. So we're going to have the substitutions here for Argentina. Leandro Paredes subbed out for Franco Mastantuono. And Lautaro Martinez subbed out for Julian Alvarez. Vini, I forgot about Vini, you're right. But Vini has been on poor form, so Vini is not a guaranteed starter for the Brazilian national team if you look at the other players in those positions right now. But of course, Vini should be a starter for Brazil, but like in his current form, I don't know about that. So in comes Julian Alvarez to replace Lautaro, who's had a bit of a quiet night. Maybe Julian off the bench provides something that we haven't seen. And Mastantuono already asking for the ball and getting involved as a new creator. And I guess that McAllister is going to take Paredes' spot as the defensive midfielder for Argentina. And we're going to have some more offensive pressure with another creator in the attack in Mastantuono. So I understand the substitutions from Scaloni's perspective. Before, when we were 10 against 11, we were trying to just stabilize and have a more neutral game throughout the midfield. Now that it's 10 on 10, we can go on the front foot, try to attack Ecuador more, and that's why Mastantuono is needed either on the right or drifting inside like he usually does. I'd rather watch a washed-up Neymar than Vini. I mean, but Brazil has nobody that can dictate play. Like, you can try with Caio Jorge, but if you're gonna rock up with Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes work for Newcastle. It doesn't work for the Brazilian national team. Joelinton cannot, under any circumstance, be on the starting midfield for Brazil. And yeah, they just have a lot of issues right there. Yeah, Joao Pedro is a better number 9. It's the best striker that Brazil have right now. Okay, Julian Alvarez cuts inside the box. That's a bad pass. That's a bad pass. Joelinton and Bruno, yeah, you're Newcastle boys. But for Brazil, it doesn't work. For Newcastle, it works. For Brazil, it's not the same. Julian Mastantuono tries to cut inside. That's a good pass. Gets intercepted, and that's going to be a throw-in for Argentina. Can Brazil's midfield be strengthened? I don't know. Like I was saying, you could have like... I said Caio Jorge. I don't... No, Andrei Santos is who I meant. Not Caio Jorge. Andrei Santos, the Chelsea player. Andrei Santos is a player I want to see more for Brazil's midfield. No. Tagliafico gets a yellow card. On the opening day of the World Cup, I will be surely eating Mexican food. Well, it depends on where I'm at, but I'll try to do something similar. What if you go 4-1, 4-1? Can it work for Brazil? Against weaker opposition, I feel like that can work. Against a top team that has a real midfield, I feel like you're just gonna get slaughtered. Like what Brazil played a 4-2-4 against Argentina in the Monumental, and they got slaughtered 4-1. So like if you play with essentially no midfield, no holding midfield, against a top team, you're gonna get exposed. But against weaker opposition, I feel like that's a formation that Brazil could look into because they may not get punished by a team that doesn't have as much quality. But if you're facing up against a quality midfield, I feel like you need to match it, or else you're gonna get overrun. The whole play is dictated on the midfield nowadays more than ever. If you don't have a good midfield, you're just not gonna win the game. Nico Gonzalez gets dispossessed. That's going to be a throw-in for Argentina. Argentina definitely on the front foot. We've definitely been dominating possession for the last 10 to 15 minutes, it feels like. Now with Mastantuono, he's getting a bit more involved in the attack and he's giving Ecuador something else to worry about. But even down to 10 men, both teams are down to 10 men. And Ecuador still have the best defense in the tournament. So even with us being on the same player count, scoring against Ecuador is going to be super, super hard. Antonio, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the stream. How's your hopes for Argentina's squad going back to back? I have high hopes. I still think that Argentina is the best team in the planet. But winning another World Cup is super, super difficult because you have so many teams that have the potential to win the World Cup. And then at the tournament itself, everything has to go right for you. Whatever you did before the World Cup doesn't matter. You have to perform during that month. And I do believe that Argentina is going to perform, but things have to go your way. You have to get lucky. You have to not have many injuries to key players. So like a lot of things can happen ahead of the World Cup. I trust that Argentina can do it. I don't know if they will actually do it. That's my response. The Andre guy, yeah, Andre could be another option for Brazil in the midfield. I just feel like Andrei Santos has proven himself to be better. Okay, so another substitution for both Argentina and Ecuador. Rodrigo de Paul subbed out with some sort of discomfort. And Giovanni Lo Celso being subbed in. Glad to see Lo Celso back in the team because I've loved what he's done for Betis lately, and also whenever he plays for the national team, I feel like he's fantastic. Substitution on the side of Ecuador: Gonzalo Plata out, Kevin Rodriguez in, so they get Plata out and they get a proper number 9, but one that isn't very clinical in Kevin Rodriguez to be their main man up front, trying to look for counterattacks if I had to guess, because Argentina has had most of the possession lately. Brazil is going to DC next year, yeah, not really to the workout, just to be a tourist. I'm not even watching the Peru game. It's disgusting. Dark ages for Peru right now. Yeah, I agree. It's peak for for Peru. See, now, what the hell is going on? Like, my browser updated, I went to the 70th minute, and now I'm back to 69:40. What is going on? What is going on with my stream? I just saw like, there, Lo Celso have a shot that took a deflection and went scraping the post to the corner. That was a clear opportunity for Argentina that I missed because my stream refreshed. Do you think Messi will play or no? I think, in terms of quality, Messi has the quality to be at the next World Cup. It's going to be a question of his physicality because we know that he's already not playing every single game for Inter Miami. He's not even playing every single game for the national team. He played like basically his farewell game against Venezuela, and now he didn't even travel to Ecuador. What I think and what I appreciate from Messi is that if he truly thinks that he's not fit to be in the World Cup, he's not going to go. Messi is not going to force his way to the World Cup just because he wants to be there. If he feels like he cannot be there and he's going to be a liability, he's not going to be there. I still think that Messi is a super valuable asset to the national team. He showed it against Venezuela. And so I think that Messi will play, but it's going to come down to his physicality. And it's Messi's decision in the end. There's nothing we can do to change that. I hope that he makes it. I think he will make it, but I cannot guarantee it. Philly cheesesteak. Okay, we're having Philly cheesesteak on opening day at your house as well. I don't really see any teams that can beat Argentina. Spain can beat us. France can beat us. Portugal can beat us on their day. I think that Argentina can beat Spain, Argentina can beat France, Argentina can beat Portugal. I would go as far to say that Argentina is favored in those matches 7, or that it's a 50-50 at least, but oh, that's a bad ball to give away. Kevin Rodriguez, amazing save from Emi Martinez. Another shot over the crossbar. What a save on the one-on-one by Emi Martinez, keeping Argentina alive on this one. That could have easily been the second goal for Ecuador. A bad giveaway by Argentina's defense and a missed opportunity. I believe it was Kevin Rodriguez, because he was just subbed in to be the striker, who missed that one-on-one opportunity against Emi Martinez. So this is still 1-0. Second half kickoff. Remember guys, we're going to stay tuned for the after this game finishes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to stay tuned to see what happens between Bolivia and Colombia and Venezuela and Colombia and Bolivia and Brazil. So don't go anywhere after this game finishes. Did you think that Messi was in his 40s? No, I mean he's close, but no, he's not. He was born in 27th of June 1987. So he's gonna be 38 and he's gonna turn 39 during the World Cup. Yeah, I think that if he plays in the 2026 World Cup, he retires after that. At most, if we win the World Cup, I feel like he's gonna have a farewell game here in Argentina, like a friendly, and that's it. He retires after that. Like just to be able to celebrate with the local crowd. And that's it. If we don't win the World Cup, I feel like the World Cup he retires and that's it. France and Spain, yeah. June 24th, you're right. I'm a fake fan. No, I'm a fake fan. 10 the item is right. It's June 24th because that's also Riquelme's birthday. 10 the item is right. I'm a fake fan. June 24th is Messi's birthday. And World Cup starts on June 11th. So yeah, Messi always celebrates his birthday with the national team. Colombia scored. Oh my God. No, Venezuela. Luis Suarez again. Colombia are leading. And that means that Venezuela needs to score twice, or at least score once, and then have Brazil equalize. Oh no, Venezuela! They're choking. They haven't lost a game at home this whole qualifier campaign. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the first ever game they lose at home, these qualifiers, was this one, the one that matters the most. That's so sad for Venezuela, man. Oh, 2 assists for James and 2 goals for Luis Suarez. Argentina bicampeón, crossing my fingers, anulo Mufa. Lo Celso with the cross, Tagliafico with the header, the ball goes through the box. Mastantuono for Julian Alvarez, who tries to cross it, it gets cleared away. Nice for Valerdi to win that. Man, we're playing with Valerdi and Foyt as center backs. Like, I'm so hungry. Like, this game is gonna finish and I'm gonna go over to make my dinner because I'm like starving, man. Man, Venezuela is choking. That's so sad. That's so sad. Because you know, Bolivia, great story. Happy for them. You know they're gonna do nothing on the Intercontinental playoffs, do you? They're gonna do nothing. Bolivia is not gonna make the World Cup even if they make the playoffs. It's so sad for Venezuela. No, I'm gonna stay longer just to see what happens. Something crazy may happen, and if I turn off Gustavo, if I turn off the stream, and Venezuela turns it around, like, no, I cannot have that happen. It's football. Anything can happen. Yeah, Venezuela, after so much hype through this entire campaign, Mano Tengo Fe, they made a promo video. They packed their stadium just to bottle it on the final game. Yeah, it's only gonna be 6 countable teams. Void. Mastantuono with the cross, cleared away. We now need Venezuela for 3, yeah. My stream just updated itself again. What is it? Like 45? What is going on? I'm like skipping through. I'm like catching up essentially because I'm so far behind. It's just catching up at this point. Yeah, Kevin Rodriguez, the one who missed that one-on-one. Emi Martinez saving it with his foot. And now it's gone backwards 30 seconds once again. I'm so tired. So tired of this browser. Ay. Come on. At least an equalizer. Please. We've already conceded a goal to Ecuador that we shouldn't have conceded because there wasn't a penalty. Don't let Ecuador get another clean sheet. Please, we need to score against Ecuador. Just prove it. Any Venezuelan in the chat, that would be super sad. I'm sorry for any Venezuelans watching because like it must be a very tough pill to swallow because you were right there. You were winning against Colombia. Venezuela wasn't even sniffing a goal against Brazil. And now it's all gone to waste so quickly. Oh, I forgot to turn on this stuff once again. Hold up. It's gonna be like 35. There we go. More like Vuvuzela. That's like a terrible joke. Holy crap. That almost warrants a ban from how bad that joke was. Mastantuono with the shot takes a deflection, and that's gonna be a corner for Argentina. Mastantuono is really getting involved. He's trying. I like what I'm seeing from Mastantuono. I really do. I already really like what I saw from him in the game against Venezuela. And we're seeing something similar right here. Getting involved, asking for the ball. Lo Celso with the cross. Ooh, that was almost a great header, but it gets cleared away in the end. Argentina still hold on to possession. Julian Alvarez. I thought you were already watching Peru against Paraguay. That's why I didn't subject you to that pain. I thought you were doing it willingly. Okay, can we recover that ball? No? Okay. Oh, that is a great move from Kevin Rodriguez. Holy crap. And that's going to be a yellow card for sure. Yeah, yellow card for Valerdi. What a great move from Kevin Rodriguez, forcing that issue. So here's an interesting thought. If Brazil were to score, Venezuela takes the Intercontinental playoff spot because they would be tied on 18 points and Venezuela has the better goal difference. So Venezuela, as long as Brazil gets an equalizer, Venezuela doesn't even need to win. As long as Bolivia doesn't win, Venezuela can lose and still make it. But they need Brazil to get a goal. Still not over. Venezuela may lose and still qualify if Brazil gets an equalizer. So that's something to consider. All right, that's going to be a goal kick for Argentina. We have 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time. No, not an own goal. We need Brazil to score so that Venezuela can make it. Mano, tengo fe. One goal, Brazil. What does one goal do to you? Brazil only have 0.12 XG in el alto. Oh, no. Rank, do you believe in the theory of teams without a coach from their nation won't win the World Cup since it hasn't been done? I don't know if I'm a believer in that because I think that we've seen multiple national teams succeed with foreign coaches, just not at the World Cup specifically, but that's because the teams that have won the World Cup are top heavy and are crazy for football, and so they have great coaching academies as well, except for Brazil, but Brazil has like crazy talent, and so that's what's carried them. So I guess it's not really a surprise that all of the coaches that have won the World Cup did it with their own nation. But I wouldn't be surprised either if a foreign coach won with another team, because I think we've seen plenty of examples of teams thriving with foreign coaches. Colombia goal, oh gosh. So what this means is that Venezuela's hopes are on Brazil. Because Venezuela, it's very unlikely that they make a full comeback. But if Brazil score, Venezuela can still make it. Venezuela was never in. Venezuela was in for like most of today. For most of today, Venezuela was in. And now they're not. U17 is beating Japan. We're gonna go far. Albert, thank you so much for joining, by the way. Good to see you here. Luis Suarez hat-trick, that's crazy. Good to see you here, Albert. Yeah, I mean, get that hope, you mean. The U17 has something to believe in now. Messi is not playing, Albert, actually, but sure. Yeah, if Bolivia concede right now, Venezuela go through because they tie in points and Venezuela has a better goal difference. My stream went back 30 seconds again, so that's cool. Attack for Ecuador. Kevin Rodriguez up against Foyt, but Foyt wins that duel. No, but Albert is a CR7 fan, but uh, he's not brain dead like the others. Like Albert has a brain and just has a character. Like he plays like he's delusional and plays like he's biased, but it's all just a sketch. Like Albert just pretends to be super biased and delusional, like all the other Ronaldo fans. But Albert is like a real man, real smart man that is just playing dumb for fun, which I appreciate. You appreciate the jokes. We support humor here. Anyway, 5 more minutes to go in this game. Plus stoppage time to try and figure out if Argentina can at least get an equalizer and get something out of this game. That's been like very uphill from the beginning with the red card and everything. Hello Mats, welcome back. Update, Colombia is up 4-2 against Venezuela. So that means that Venezuela's fate is pretty much not on their hand. And they need Brazil to score a goal. And yeah, Albert is here too. Yeah, Luis Suarez with a hat-trick to destroy Venezuela's hope. Maturin must be super quiet. People must be in disbelief all over Venezuela. Yeah, Albert is a rage better. Exactly. I love him. We need Venezuela 5-4. Or like I said, a single goal from Brazil turns everything around because Venezuela still have a better goal difference. Ooh, that shot from Franco goes over the crossbar. Alan Franco, the Ecuadorian. And that's a goal kick for Argentina. USA 2-0 up against Japan. Wow, what a statement. What a statement from the USMNT. Has Brazil done like any substitutions? They have 4 shots, 0 on target, man. Brazil is like not even trying. They've subbed in Marquinhos, Estevao, and Joao Pedro. So like they have real players now, at least, on the pitch. With Richarlison and Luis Enrique, they were never gonna score. What is this Brazil team like for real? But with Estevao and Joao Pedro, perhaps we see Brazil score and make it interesting. That's crazy that Luis Suarez got a hat-trick for Colombia. That's so insane to me. Wow, crazy that the US-17 is getting this crazy result away from Japan. I mean, in the USA, but taking this result from Japan, considering the horrible form that the US-17 was coming in. Rafinha is coming in for Brazil. Okay. So Estevao, Rafinha, and Joao Pedro, like the front 3 that I mentioned, online for Brazil to try and get that goal. That won't mean much for Brazil, but it would mean the world to Venezuela. Yeah, USA has the LeBron James of soccer, exactly. To be like Albert, you need to be humble and have no significant record of bad takes. True. Ooh, let's see. This is potentially a chance for Ecuador now. Is Vini career redeemable? What do you mean it's redeemable? He has an amazing career. 2 Champions Leagues already. Already won a ton of trophies with Real Madrid. He has a whole career ahead of him. Obviously that means his career is redeemable He's just having an awful season right now, or at least awful for his standards. What am I right about, Gustavo? Vinny's cooked? Well, he looks cooked this season. Yeah, purple patch. Mastantuono. His shot gets blocked. Oh! I believe it was Tagliafico. No, Lo Celso with the shot over the crossbar. That's going to be a goal kick for Ecuador. Not too far off target for Lo Celso. Venezuela double substitution. Murillo and Kelsey for Bello and Navarro. Okay, last ditch effort for Venezuela. Colombia goal. It's 5. Holy crap. 4 goals. A poker of goals for Luis Suarez. And it's 5. That's crazy. Albert doesn't rate Vini, but he deserved the Ballon d'Or. That's a take. That's crazy. It's 5-2. What a horrible night for Venezuela. And the only thing that can salvage this is a goal from Brazil. Even losing 5-2, Venezuela's goals difference is 8 goals better than Bolivia's. Bolivia is on -18 and Venezuela is on -10. So as long as Brazil get a goal, Venezuela can still qualify. But they are not qualifying on their own terms. No, sir. 5 conceded goals. 5. Colombia is dropping a 5 piece on them. At their crib. Yeah, Luis Suarez is just the reincarnation of Falcao, it seems. Mastantuono inside the box. Drops, but no penalty. We have 5 minutes of stoppage time. And this is going to be a corner for Argentina. Venezuela has been beaten. I see what you did there. Yeah, Falcao at Atletico and at Porto, he was unplayable. Hola, Alex. Gracias por venir. Gracias por pasarte. Besitos. Venezuela, the crazy part is, Venezuela is not out. They're not winning their game. No, I believe you that Venezuela is not winning their game. But if Brazil scores, Venezuela gets the Intercontinental playoffs. Yeah, Luis Suarez with a poker of goals. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, John Jehovah subbed out for Ecuador, and Alan Minda gets subbed in. 2-13 would be crazy. So last 2 minutes of this game between Ecuador and Argentina, it seems like Argentina has not been able to find a goal. Obviously, huge props to Ecuador's defense, which has gone unbeaten in most of the games at these qualifiers. The game was very uphill from the very beginning for Argentina because of the red card that Otamendi got. But even before the red card, I believe that Ecuador was being the better team. And yeah, after that and with the penalty, it just became like a very uphill battle. And even though Caicedo got sent off and Argentina began dominating possession and the momentum of the game. We didn't really create a crazy good opportunity, and so yeah, we didn't really look like scoring this game. Would Venezuela even beat a CAF team? Depends on the CAF team, but I feel like Venezuela would definitely have a better chance than Bolivia. Julian Alvarez tries to cut inside. This is going to be the last opportunity for Argentina, dominating possession near Ecuador's box with only 30 seconds to go. There's a cross inside the box, gets cleared away, but Argentina still in possession. Julian gets tackled, no foul, says the ref. And so this is going to be a counter-attack for Ecuador, potentially. Kevin Rodriguez is not going to get there. 15 seconds to go. You have to play this into the box, guys, or else Roldan is going to blow his whistle. 10 seconds to go. Argentina near the box once again. Nico with the cross. Nahuel Molina. McAllister. Ball gets cleared away. There's a scramble. The ref blows his whistle. Ecuador has won. Ecuador has beaten the Copa America, the back-to-back Copa America champions. Ecuador has beaten the world champions. I don't know if deserved, because I don't think that penalty they scored was a penalty. But if I had to say, I think that Ecuador was the better team across the 90 minutes. Obviously helped by them being up a man for a good chunk of this game. But still, I think that Ecuador deserved the victory. Argentina did not play to their usual standard, and obviously it's understandable because one, we were missing a lot of our starters, and two, we had that early red card like I mentioned earlier, so it's not like worrying or surprising that Argentina didn't show their best performance. But yeah, shout out to Ecuador, because I think that they deserved that win. And I guess now we have to tune in to see what's happening between Brazil and Bolivia. I'm gonna have to check if I can find this game anywhere. But first, I'm gonna go make dinner, as people are saying that Paraguay got a goal. Good for them. Yeah, call from Ecuador. Congrats to them for the win. Anyway, I'm gonna go make myself dinner. Get that underway really, really quick, and I'll be back. Okay? Don't go anywhere. We're gonna check. We're gonna be on stream until all of the games finish. So don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna get my dinner started because I'm starving. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. It's really 6-3. Like Venezuela got a goal and Colombia got a goal too. Like I left for a few minutes and no shot. Okay, let me see if I can find the Bolivia game. It's just that it's a quarter past 10 p.m. and I haven't had dinner yet. And I'm like starving. Okay, here's the Bolivia game. Let's check on this. 78 minutes. Let me update the score. Let me get rid of the red cards. And let me find a scoreboard that suits this game. Not this, not this, not this. This is how I do my scoreboards, by the way. I'm sure I have a green one. A green and yellow. Not this. No. This one, perfect. Let's see. Bolivia. Brazil. Update the teams. I can keep the 1-0, which is perfect. We can do 79 05. We can start. And Bolivia are defending with everything they can. They are holding on for dear life because they know that with this win, they are making the Intercontinental playoffs, but they also know that a single goal from Brazil ruins everything and qualifies Venezuela to the Intercontinental playoffs. So Bolivia know that they cannot, as much as it looks sealed right now, they cannot slip up right now. So what's even happened, man? Quintero and John Cordova were subbed in. Savarino. Wait, Savarino wasn't even playing for Venezuela. That's crazy. I didn't realize that. Yeah, this wasn't nearly enough. It was nowhere near Argentina's level. We're only... Okay, fair enough. 5-3 goal from Rondon. So Rondon at least got some consolation, but even then Colombia went on to score a sixth. Alejandro Moreno, vamos Venezuela. They're laughing at Chile as well, 6-3. John Cordova, that's crazy. Like, best game of the international break, like 6-3, it's insane. That's insane, man. How is it 6-3? It's a tennis match. It's actually a tennis match. And I'm out here watching Bolivia-Brazil because that game doesn't matter. As long as Venezuela doesn't make a full comeback, that game doesn't matter. What matters is this game, because if Brazil score a goal, Bolivia are out. A draw is not enough. Good race are always last. Oh, they were laughing at Chile, but I thought they had conceded, but no, it's still 0-0. I don't know, apparently. Yeah, I'm happy to watch Brazil-Bolivia because this is the game that matters. That's when you eat before the game. Well, but I didn't eat before the game because the game wasn't late enough for me to eat before the game. And I can afford to eat after. Like, I don't have to go to bed early for whatever reason. So Brazil at least has had 2 shots on target, but it hasn't been a great offensive output on the side of Brazil. At least it looks like they're trying right now. That's crazy that John Luis Suarez scores a poker. Venezuela scores 3 goals and they're losing 6-3 because Luis Suarez scores a poker. And now John Cordova got a goal. Oh my god. Mike is gonna be... Man, Mike is asleep right now. The scenes that Mike is gonna wake up to, it's insane. Chile blow, thanks Gareca. Yeah, Gareca was a double agent, I'm telling you. It makes no sense how bad he was for Chile and how delusional he was in the press conference as well. Gareca must have been a double agent for Peru. $82, 83. Is it 82? I cannot see from here. I believe that my score is now far ahead. Oh my... See, my stream keeps going backwards once again. What the hell? Yeah, this one's up to date. It's 3:21 a.m. Well, respect for staying up. Thank you so much for being here, Team Diarium, and thank you to everyone who's checking out on this stream, who was here to see Argentina's defeat, even though I was not pleased to see it. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in for the last match day of World Cup qualifiers here in CONMEBOL. Thank you for your service, Gareca. Yeah, exactly. Way better than Italy 4, Italy 5, Israel 4. I didn't get to watch that game live. I watched the highlights. That was insane too. But just the implications of this game, it's insane. Yellow card for the number 14 for Brazil. I don't even recognize him. He's that random. Miguelito Terceros drawing in a foul at a critical moment. And getting a super valuable free kick for Bolivia. Ancelotti is just chewing on gum on the side. John Arias not starting, yeah. John Arias should be starting for the Colombian national team. And I thought 2-2 between Venezuela and Colombia was crazy because it wasn't going to be that high scoring. How foolish I was. Dude, imagine Terceros goes for goal from here. Imagine Terceros goes for goal here. Terceros on target! Ooh, gets deflected off a teammate, I believe. Yeah, it deflected off a teammate. Alisson didn't even have to save it. That was going on target and it deflected off a teammate. No way. That's crazy. Bolivia could have been 2-0 up. Oh, what a save from Alisson! What a save from Alisson! I've reacted to that even like more than anything that happened in the Argentina game because the Argentina game was so dull. What a save from Alisson! Which essentially keeps Venezuela's hopes alive because a second goal from Bolivia would have been lethal right there. Oh my gosh. No spoilers, Gustavo. No spoilers because like I'm watching this right now and I want the excitement as well. You can tell me like about the other games if you want, but not about Bolivia-Brazil. Mañana baja la papa. Alisson is paid by Venezuela. That was an amazing save by Alisson. Holy crap. And a goal from Brazil eliminates Bolivia. Brazil inside the box. Luca with a shot deflected away. Bolivia defending with everything they got. Is that going to be a free kick? No. This is a counter attack. No, that's going to be a foul. That's a free kick for Brazil. I need to check on my dinner real quick. Alright, my kitchen is not on fire, so that's good enough for me. I need to watch this free kick. Yeah, a draw is not enough for Bolivia, because even if Venezuela lose and Bolivia draw, both Bolivia and Venezuela are on 18 points and Venezuela has the better goal difference. Even after getting battered by Colombia, Venezuela still has the better goal difference. And so, if Brazil score right here, Venezuela is going to the Intercontinental Playoffs. Goal kick for Venezuela. Yeah, an equalizer from Brazil here saves Venezuela and eliminates Bolivia. But the free kick is horrible and gets deflected. Brazil still in possession though. That's a good ball. Oh, Joao Pedro, what was that pass? Joao Pedro, no. What was that pass from Joao Pedro? Yeah, I want Venezuela to be at the World Cup as well. That's why I'm rooting for Brazil to get one goal, just one goal. And now Lampe is on the floor, time wasting for Bolivia. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the scenes. Full time, Venezuela 3, Colombia 6. So just how far behind am I? Just how far behind am I? All of the other games have finished, but this one. All of the games have finished but this one. That's crazy. We still have the full stoppage time to go. And I wonder how much stoppage time they're gonna give. That's a great interception and Bolivia are hitting on the counter-attack now. Bolivia, Terceros is not gonna get to the ball, so it's recycled back to Alisson and Brazil are gonna start over again. Okay, Georgie injured, sucks for Cruzeiro. Yeah, Flamengo, good news. No, why did my stream go backwards again? Why did my stream go backwards? Stop doing that, Jesus. Stop going backwards. Okay, there we go. Algañarás just booting the ball away. It's gonna be a goal kick for Brazil. Try to keep the ball away from your box as much as possible. It's the motto for Bolivia. Now there's no more balls. Nobody's reaching out to pass the ball to Alisson, so he has to go get it himself. Poch secures his job for the World Cup with his win over Japan. Well, definitely a breath of fresh air for the USMNT and Pochettino. Bolivia is pressing high. They're pressing Brazil when they're playing out from the back. That's crazy. Yeah, only 5 minutes of stoppage time. Like, we wanted more drama. We only have 3.5 more minutes of this. But a goal from Brazil changes everything. Remember not to spoil if you see it. The cross in, that's... The ball is caught by Lampe, and Lampe is gonna hold on to that ball for the rest of his life if he can. If he's allowed to. Bruno G gave away the penalty, oh gosh. This is gonna be a throw-in for Brazil, 3 minutes to go. Can Brazil save Venezuela since Venezuela couldn't save themselves? Since Venezuela couldn't save themselves, can Brazil save Venezuela? Bolivia is making the Intercontinental Playoffs. They're less than 3 minutes away. Joao Pedro with the through ball gets booted away by a defender, but Brazil recover possession in the attack. Is that gonna be a free kick? That's a free kick for Brazil. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, oh goodness gracious. That's a free kick for Brazil and it's in shooting distance. And Rafinha is a specialist. Bolivia have conceded a free kick, not on the edge of the box, but near enough for Rafinha to take that. Bolivia is in as of now, but if Brazil score, Venezuela will be in and Bolivia will be out. Minutes between history are absolute sadness for Venezuela, exactly, and it all depends on Brazil. It all depends on Brazil scoring a goal. All of Venezuela is praying, is on their knees, begging Rafinha to bag in this free kick right here. Antonio, I'm telling you, you have not watched the Brazilian league. Neymar is on another level of finish right now. Same with Santos. I love Neymar, but it's another level of finish. Rafinha with the free kick for Brazil. That feels like a free kick for Venezuela. It's saved by Lampe. And Lampe is gonna hold on to that ball like it was the most valuable thing in his world. Yeah, Rafinha, not enough power into that free kick, and it was an easy save for Lampe. And Bolivia are mere seconds away from the Intercontinental playoffs. And Venezuela have bottled a massive opportunity to make the World Cup. Estevao with the cross! And again it's got by Lampe. Lampe who's becoming the hero right now, the face of the victory. The referee is gonna ask for the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, Bolivia has done it. Bolivia has defeated Brazil and has made it into the Intercontinental playoffs. Venezuela, in heartbreaking fashion, is out of the World Cup. And Bolivia is in the Intercontinental playoffs, and for the first time since 1994 will have a chance to play in the World Cup. Wow. Wow. Gustavo, that's crazy. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness gracious. Congratulations to all of the Bolivians on this incredible achievement that is getting to the Intercontinental playoffs for the very first time. And obviously, my condolences to all of the Venezuelans who were super excited, who had faith and believed until the very last moment that they could actually do it. And it was stripped away from them in the most heartbreaking fashion. Feels so bad for Venezuela, but it feels so good for Bolivia, who now, it's celebration now, but they will have to prove themselves away from home in the Intercontinental playoffs whenever that rolls around. Bolivia against New Caledonia will be there. No, the game is over. The game is over, Gustavo. Bolivia have done it. Bolivia are in the Intercontinental playoffs and will be CONMEBOL's 7th representative. Not at the World Cup still, but they could be in it. They could be in it if they make something incredible happen in the Intercontinental playoffs. And again, so sorry to all of the Venezuelans who may be watching. The Argentina game is almost an afterthought after what happened here. That's insane. That's insane, man. Anyway, that was it for the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. Argentina, Ecuador, Uruguay, Brazil, Colombia, and Paraguay will be at the World Cup. Peru, Chile, and Venezuela are eliminated, and we're still yet to see what's going to happen with Bolivia, who have claimed the Intercontinental playoff spots. That was it. 18 match days of madness once again for the CONMEBOL qualifiers have come to an end, And now the waiting game begins until the 2026 World Cup. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined the stream, who's watched. Thank you so much to Matt, to Gustavo, to Neon, to Mr. Krabs, to 10 Day Item, everyone, absolutely everyone. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an amazing stream, an historic night for Bolivia. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all next time. Peace out, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.